Welcome to Hope in Hell, the podcast that encourages listeners to see that no matter what life is thrown at you, there's always hope. You just need to know where to look. If you find value in these conversations, don't forget to follow or subscribe on YouTube or your favourite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. If you're inspired by what you hear, we'd so appreciate you leaving a review. It helps others discover the podcast and spreads hope even further.
I used to have my arms around the PE department and wanted to be protected from people like that because I didn't trust them.
I think what was a hard job has now become an impossible one.
Prisoners like structure. They like to know what their day consists of, what is expected of them.
It was a disciplined service, but I don't think it's that now.
If a prisoner wanted to grow a beard or a tash, they had to make an application.
If anyone touched a female officer when I was doing time, we would have beaten them to a pulp.
Staff are the ones working on the coalface in the front line, but they're never listened to.
Did you get prison inspected, obviously?
Oh,
was the Ofsted,
HMIP,
there was Ofsted inspection, wasn't there?
Which I have my own views on.
Yeah.
But quick, I'll just interject something with Ofsted. I resented them.
Right.
And I used to think, why are you coming into a prison setting to do this? Mm-hmm. You should be more out there in the community, looking at schools and then I used to think, well, what's on my shirt here? Physical education. And the giveaway was education. And I still resented them.
Yeah.
But you understood the need for them coming in?
Not at the time I didn't, Gary. I used to have my arms around the PE department and wanted to be protected from people like that because I didn't trust them. Mm-hmm. And then I decided I don't know enough about them. Mm-hmm. So I started doing a little bit of research and I eventually got in contact with this lady called Curry Boffey.
Yes.
And Curry invited me to a course.
And I not go with you?
No.
I went to see, I've met you.
Yes, you went on another one.
Aye.
So what she did was, just digressing slightly, what she did was she seen the value in it and she started to do those courses. Yeah. The one I went on was just a one-off and what they did was they did a mock-up of a educational setting which didn't exist, and they had all of these metrics that had to be measured. And I was just sitting, I thought I was just there as an observer, but she threw me in at the deep end, and I became part of this inspection team, and it kind of opened my eyes. And before I knew it, I thought I was a bloody Ofsted inspector, and I was engaging with it all. And then at the end of it, we talked about it, and she said, "Have you changed your opinion?" And I said, "Yes, I have. I see the need for it."
A good friend of mine, Lenny, she always says, "Those who feel know."
Yes.
And once you've felt, you know.
Yes.
And sometimes
and
it's great to get that perspective.
I think
and from then on, but she gave me a great bit of advice, and that advice was, if we hear of an Ofsted or even an HMIP inspection coming along, I mean, some of them are unannounced, and you don't get that much of a chance. But, you normally get a tip off, don't you?
Yeah.
She said, what you should do is you should get everything out that you know is going to be tested and looked at. She says, and what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that I keep saying to you, well, you show me your induction process, and I'm going to keep saying to you, so what?
Yeah.
Well, this is what we do. And well, what do you do about inclusivity? Well, we do this. We have, so what? Mm-hmm. I want you to take it to the nth degree.
Yes.
And she said, I want you to lay everything out, and as soon as that inspector comes through the door, grab them by the arm and say, don't let them speak. Mm-hmm. This is what we do. X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
Blow their minds.
Yeah. Don't tell me, show me. That's what you taught me.
Yeah.
So, and from that moment on, I did it. But
and excelled, by the way.
You've also said that many times as well.
We went up in the rankings from being bottom of the PE leagues to being number 1, number 2.
Tremendous.
And it worked. And then we got inspected by HMIP, and Tom, you might be able to remember the year, HMP Durham ended up in deep doo-doo. And it was because of the PE department that we pulled them up in the
Saved
rankings.
them from special measures.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that was under Tim as well. Mm-hmm. And then we get inspected by PE branch as well.
Yeah.
So
It's a hell of a lot of scrutiny, isn't it?
Yes.
It's intense. Like,
It really is intense. But if you're doing the right things daily and you don't take your eye off the ball, then it doesn't become a chore.
Well, I think you have
it becomes a pleasure to
you
show
can
them.
invite it, can't you, scrutiny? I think if you're doing great and you're a shining example, and you guys obviously were in that gym, I think you want people to see it, you know. That's what we say in our day-to-day business. We invite scrutiny. Come anytime you like, and there it is. It's all in order. And I think that's a great feeling, isn't it?
It is.
The only thing I would say about the whole thing that I found a little bit is the comparing us with civilian and we're a prison, and it is different, isn't it?
And that was my resentment towards Ofsted. I just couldn't get my head around it.
Yeah.
And I always thought that they were there to castigate us, to find fault. But when you look at it in the cold light of day, they're there to help us. And the recommendations which came out were, there were recommendations and not criticisms. There were findings, not criticisms. So it kind of kicked us on a little bit more. And if we can get better, you know, but then again, the personalities that you work with, the staff that you work with, and then management that you work with who are so detached from what's going on, you know, they're strategists. They're not on the coal face.
Box tickers, Len.
I've got a question for you both. Sorry. So the nature, I know when you first joined, people were wearing caps. You were told to
go up on the force and I'll see you in 5 years.
We won't swear what the gentleman said to you. We'll see you in 5 years. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Curious Matter Productions, turning up the volume on society's forgotten voices. The series Hope in Hell is a platform for amplifying raw, real stories of survival, despair and triumph, told through open, honest and powerful conversations, because no matter what life throws at you, there's always hope.
So the nature of the job then, over since joining, obviously.
I was coming on to that, actually.
Right, sorry.
Yeah. Right, 37 years in the service, and feel free.
Thank you, by the way, Lenny, for that.
And be honest,
37 years in the service.
I feel so lucky that I've been able to do 37. And the prison service, it might sound strange to some people, the prison service has given me so much. It really has. You know, I've
good standard of living in it.
Yes, a good standard of living. Yes, I've complained, I've moaned and groaned, but I've met some great people. I've worked with some great people. And that's on both sides of the fence. I'm probably a better person for meeting these people and being able to work with them, you know, and I've worked with some real nasties all the way down to, you know, the cuddlies. You know, from Myra Hindley, Bob Mawson, Maudsley,
Myra Hindley and were on the wing, I think, when I was in H-wing.
When I went to Durham...
So I was on E-wing facing it.
When I went to Durham from Acklington, when I was transferred on PE, the PE department was kind of still in the Victorian age, and they didn't do any educational stuff with them. And Alan Dickinson, who was the manager, and Gavin Walker, I had to start all over again because there were old sweats at Durham and I was the junior, we all know the word. And I had to start all over again. And I thought, well, what better way to... I'd been at Acklington doing educational stuff, NVQs and some leadership courses and what have you. And I thought, well, what better way to get my feet under the table and impress the managers and make them think, well, they've made the right choice bringing me to Durham, was to run a course. And I ran a course on H-wing with the females. And obviously they were nearly all Cat A's on there. And it was kind of, you can't run courses with them. No, you can't do that with them. And I thought, I'm going to do this. And it went down, it was brilliant. I loved every minute of it. Women are a different entity to work with, but again, it added another string to my bow. I used to look at some of the PE staff and think, you know, the aerobics they used to do, and I was coordinated as, you know, hopeless, absolutely hopeless. But I'd give it a go, and it would end up as a laugh, you know, and you've got to strip yourself away to find yourself. And what better way to do it than in front of...
Embarrass yourself.
In front of prisoners. And it worked a treat, and I loved it.
I mean, something happened which was mind-blowing to me when Tom and I started working together. I was doing work in Rosebery Park Hospital,
Right.
on the Ridgeway unit and stuff, and you hadn't come on board with it. It was just that kind of.
I was just testing it out, yeah.
And he said, "Can I come with you?" I said, "Yeah, come down." And we went down and we walked in the room, and I had a group in there, and there was a woman in there, and the shock on her face when she saw Tom.
She recognised me.
And then vice versa, because Tom used to look after him. I mean, you can tell the story if you like.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful moment. We often say that the Positive Impact Programme's got a life of its own because of the things that happen around it.
Yes, yes.
And it was just such a beautiful moment, and it showed us the impact of.
I'm just trying to think of her name.
I can't remember her name now, but
I spent many hours with her on a constant watch. She was there for years.
tell us what a constant watch is, please.
Or constant watch is where somebody was threatened to take their life, and it's a legitimate, we suspect that it's for real, because a lot of people make the claim but don't really mean. She did, and she took every opportunity. She threw herself down the stairs, and basically you sit with them for 12 hours, then somebody else takes over for the night shift. So you spend 12 hours with them. I got to know her. Yeah. And she had a real tragic story, which I'll not go into, but she'd suffered abuse and stuff over the years. She just wanted to die. And she was in the room. And I remember, I genuinely, when the female centre shut, she went with, she actually got sectioned.
Yes.
Oh, God, man.
And you thought?
I thought she was dead. In my head, I thought, she'll go somewhere else, she'll come off a constant and she'll kill herself. Right. And there she was in the room. It was quite emotional, to be fair. She did, aye. Yeah. Because you sat with them for 12 hours, you try and interact with them, and you get to know the story and the history. And
they do get under your skin.
I empathise with her a little bit, yeah.
Of course. I say I'm not being disrespectful, but
you'll know
it is that. They're in our charge, they're in our custody. And I always found that, I used to say to some prisoners when they used to complain about staff, he's a horrible bastard, him, and I cannot work, And I used to say, look, it's just a pair of overalls. Some staff put the uniform on, and they become a different person.
Yeah.
That brings us nicely on to where we were before. Can we just back it up a bit?
Yes.
Right, obviously you've 37 years in the service line, which is an awful long time. I salute you.
Absolutely.
It went like that.
Yeah, I sure did. The difference between your day when you joined and the service you saw just before you retired.
It's a good question.
Be honest.
It really is a good question, but one of the standouts for me is that when I joined the job in the mid-80s, the prison population stood at 38,000, and we had more establishments and we had more staff. Mm-hmm. And now, I think at the last count, the prison population stands at 90,000.
Yeah, 90.
We've got less establishments and less staff.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know, I've got my own ideas, but I'd like to know what the factors are that have influenced that meteoric rise in the numbers. Mm-hmm. What's happened? Is it a societal problem? Could the prisons be doing more? We talk about recidivism, we talk about the revolving door on the front of jails, and it just seems that it's such a complex question. There isn't one answer. It's amazing, and I always look at it and think, well, is it because, and you'll probably kick me under the table, but when I joined, like I said at the beginning, I knew my place. Mm-hmm. I knew what was expected of me. And one thing I learned very quickly was that prisoners like structure. They like to know what their day consists of, what is expected of them. And it used to be that before we'd unlock on a morning at Pentonville, prisoners had to be out of bed.
Yeah.
Prisoners had to be properly dressed, which was the blue and white strippy shirt and the denims, and their bed had to be made.
Absolutely.
And they had to be clean shaven.
Uh-huh.
And some people laugh at me and I'll say, if a prisoner wanted to grow a beard or a tash, they had to make an application.
You had to put an app in, I was just
going to say. People used to laugh and I used to say, no, because they're changing their appearance. So all of that, they didn't have TVs in their cells. They didn't have telephones in their cells.
No.
And their days were kind of structured. And it was, even walking around the exercise yard, they had to walk round in twos, round the exercise yard, and the people behind us couldn't speak to us and we couldn't speak to the people in front.
Yeah.
That's probably a bit austere, but at the end of the day, it was a structure which prisoners knew, and I'd like to know what I assume that the recidivism rates weren't as high as what they are now. I mean, the government pumped out something like 29.2%. It's nowhere near that. It's closer to 50%.
No.
Yes, 56 point something.
Definitely.
I think in light of what you're saying as well, you know, more staff, more institutions, the nature of how things have changed, and I think that's a reflection on society as well.
I
Go deeper.
I agree.
But I think now we've been asking to take this podcast into prisons, and it's actually in some prisons as well, which is massive for me as an ex-prisoner. But I would love to talk, because I think the staff within the prisons, it's like a forgotten voice. I'd love to hear directly from them, you know, because I think what was a hard job has now become an impossible one.
You've hit the nail on the head for me. You really have. And staff are the ones working on the coalface in the front line, but they're never listened to.
Yeah.
You know, and as soon as you say, well, I don't think it should be done that way, I think it should be done this way. Some, not all, I'm generalising here, but managers, not uniform managers. There seems to be a jump from uniform managers to those going into suits. But as soon as you say something like that, they see it as a challenge. They see you've been negative, and you're not. You know, you get staff who just go into work and they do their job and they go home and they don't want to get involved in anything like that. And a lot of staff who thrive upon being amongst prisoners, and and it's a sad indictment on the prison service. And then you've got the political elites making the strategies who feed it down to the ministers, who then feed it down to the justice minister, who then, and none of them have been in a jail.
Well, I was coming to that, because wouldn't it be nice if someone signed up and did 6 months or a year in a prison to actually see what it's like, the realities?
They offered a lot of the Tory government that, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm coming back to the story. Me and Lenny were on the union together, weren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, because we were negative.
Yes, we were negative.
According to governors, we weren't. We just believed in social justice. But we had many fights. But I can remember, and it was Tim Allen. In one meeting I said, and I'm with you, I think the higher people go up the ladder, once you get out of your uniform and you're off the coalface, their attitude changes, and it becomes about box ticking
it's
to an extent.
It is interesting, Tom, but when I joined all them years ago, these people who were going into suits or were on it existed then, accelerated promotion, assistant governors and this, that and the other. They were based on the wings. They're not now. They're away in an ivory tower somewhere. And they lose touch.
So there's a disconnection.
Yes, Tim Allen once asked me if you could change one thing and one thing only, what would it be? And I said, I'd bring the chief officer back. And I'd bring the chief back in a heartbeat. Because
so was the chief the PO?
No,
he was in charge of everybody.
He was so revered.
It's like the army RSM.
But he was for staff discipline and for prisoner discipline. He was the link. But if the chief officer called you up or the chief officer was around, then it was, wow. You know, feet wouldn't touch the ground. He was so respected and so revered. And it kind of worked, and the rank structures worked. But I think this day and age, I think there's a problem with recruitment. They went through a period many years ago where they decided, the prison service works on 15-year plans, financial, and it never works. And they got rid of a lot of staff, didn't they? Well, all the older sweats wanted to go because they could see the writing on the wall. And they had this brilliant plan.
It was feds, wasn't it?
And they've never reaped that money back. And now staff, the package for staff doing is it's garbage.
It's not great.
It's not great.
I can give you an example.
Why would you go and work in there when you can go and work somewhere else without the stress?
Going back to the question I asked you, Len, about the difference between obviously when you joined and I joined and now, I think recruitment's a big issue.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge.
What the recruitment, it used to be ex-military, because a lot of the mines were closing, a lot of miners, You know, they had something about they had life skills and stuff, but
even the training packages, it doesn't exist anymore.
It's diluted, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beyond diluted.
It was a disciplined service, but I don't think it's that now.
No, it's not. And
it's not.
And you know, I despair because it's, even though I did 37 years, it's still under my skin. And when I hear stories about, I mean, Durham used to be a revered jail.
Yeah.
Revered and feared.
Yes, absolutely.
In a good way.
There was us in Wandsworth.
Yeah,
and even Wandsworth has fallen apart now. And there's got to be a reason for that. And nobody's looking at, I'm not saying being austere, I'm just saying,
but
win it
there's
back.
not one, you're right, there's not one single answer to. I think recruitment plays a part, who they're recruiting now. I mean, they don't even get a face-to-face interview now.
No. What must it be like for a prisoner coming in?
I'll give you an example, right? When
Must be horrendous for them.
When I was the SO on A-Wing, we had an SO and 9, that's 10 staff on the landing. The benchmarking went down to 5. Same number of prisoners, same amount of work to do. Now tell me, something's not going to give.
Of course it is. It's a consequence, isn't it?
So I think it's an accumulation of things.
Yes.
And I think really unfairly on serving officers at the moment, security and the recent attacks and different stuff that's happened, you know, and again, you know, your own security within the prison as a prisoner.
I think society's changed as well.
So things have changed, not for the better.
I mean, in your day, Gary, a female officer would never get touched.
No.
You know, it was unheard of pretty much, wasn't it? Now, it happens all the time.
If anyone touched a female officer when I was doing time, we would have beaten them to a pulp.
Yes.
I've seen prisoners intervene.
That's the way it would happen.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen now. They're just.
So
I think
that respect's gone.
The old guard in terms of staff is no longer.
No.
The old guard in terms of prisoners is no longer.
Yeah.
And I think that just creates problems. It's created a lot of problems.